Murli of the 5th of 11th, 2022. In the essence, Baba says, sweet children, whilst living at home with your families, you have to fulfill your responsibility to everyone. Have unlimited renunciation once and create a reward for 21 births. Question. Whilst walking and moving around, what should you remember so that you can still stay on the spiritual pilgrimage? Answer. Whilst walking and moving around, remember that you are all actors and that you now have to return home. The Father reminds you of this. And how he reminds us? He says, children, I have come to take you back home. To maintain this awareness is to be Manmanabha and Madhyajibha. This is the spiritual pilgrimage that the Father teaches you. And second question, what are the qualifications needed to have salvation? Answer. The praise of being full of all virtues and 16 celestial degrees full are the qualifications you receive from the Father that you need for salvation. And the song of Baba's Murli. Have patience, O mind, your days of happiness are about to come. Om Shanti. You children know number-wise, according to the efforts you made, that the old play is now about to end. The days of sorrow will remain only for a short while longer, and then there will be constant happiness and nothing but happiness. When you know about happiness, you then understand that this is a land of sorrow. There is a lot of difference between the two. Of course, that is between the land of happiness and the land of sorrow. You are now making effort for happiness. That is, you are following Srimad. It is easy to explain this to anyone. You now have to go to Baba. Baba has come to take you back. Whilst living at home with your families, live as pure as a lotus and definitely fulfill your responsibilities. If you don't fulfill your responsibilities, you become the same as the sannyasis. Those who don't fulfill their responsibilities are said to be those of the path of isolation or hatha yogis. God is now teaching us a Raja Yoga, which we are learning. The religious scripture of Bharat is the Gita. Sannyasis are Hatha Yogis. They renounce their homes and families and go to the forest. They have to have renunciation for birth after birth. You live at home with the families, have renunciation once, and what is the benefit of this? They go and live in the forest, the sannyasis, and leave their families, renounce their families. And Baba says, you live with the families, have renunciation once, and then you receive the reward of that for 21 births. Their renunciation is limited, whereas yours is unlimited renunciation. This Raja Yoga of yours is praised a great deal. God taught you Raja Yoga. The highest on high alone is called God. Shri Krishna cannot be God. The unlimited Father is the incorporeal one. Only He can give you what it is only He can give us. He's saying today that only He can give you the unlimited sovereignty. The household path is not disliked here. The Father says, in this final birth, become pure whilst living at home with your families. None of the sannyasis can be called the purifier. They too want a pure world. There is just that one word for which they call out to the purifier, Father. Since they do not belong to the household path, they don't believe in the deities. They can never teach Raja Yoga, nor can the Father ever teach Hatha Yoga. This is something to be understood. A world conference is to take place in Delhi. Explain these things there. Give it to them in writing. Baba says, if it is in writing, they will all understand. We now belong to the highest on high Brahmin clan. Those people belong to the Shudra clan. We are theists and they are atheists. They are those who don't know God. And we are those who have yoga with God. So there is a difference of opinion, is there not? Only the Father comes and makes you into theists. By belonging to the Father, you receive the Father's inheritance. These are very tricky things. First of all, it should sit in your intellects that the God of the Gita is the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, who established the original eternal deity religion. The deity religion of Bharat is the main one. The people of Bharat have forgotten their own religion. Only you know that, according to the drama, the people of Bharat have to forget their own religion. And why it is the people of Bharat have to forget their own religion? He's giving one point on it, that it is according to the drama, but he's also saying in the next line, only then can the Father come and carry out establishment. Why else would he come? He says, I come when the deity religion disappears. It definitely has to disappear. It is said, one leg of the bull is broken, and the world is standing on 3 legs. And these 3 legs referring to the 3 other religions, and the 1 leg is that of the deity religion. Bible says there are 4 main religions. The leg of the deity religion has now broken. That is, that religion has now disappeared. This is why they give the example of the banyan tree and how the foundation is decaying, but the branches and twigs exist. So here too, the foundation of the deity religion doesn't exist. Now, the foundation of the deity religion doesn't exist now, but there are many sects and cults, etc. Your intellects have full enlightenment. The Father says, you children now know the secrets of this drama and how the whole tree has now become old. After the Iron Age, the Golden Age definitely has to come. The cycle definitely has to turn. Let it remain in your intellects that the play is about to end and that we are going home. Whilst walking and moving around, remember that you now have to return home. This is the meaning of Manmanabha and Madhyachibha. When you have to give lectures to large gatherings, explain that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, is once again telling you. And what is he once again telling us? We have to explain to large gatherings when we give lectures. He says to say like this, O children, renounce your bodies and all bodily religions. Consider yourselves to be souls. Remember the Father, and your sins will be burnt away. I teach you Raja Yoga. Whilst living at home with your families, become like a lotus. Remember me. Remain pure. And also imbibe knowledge. Now, all are in degradation. Baba comes and grants them salvation. Baba says, in the Golden Age, the deities were in salvation. And the question is, what will be the qualifications to experience salvation in the Golden Age? So he's saying here, to be full of all virtues and 16 celestial degrees, full are the qualifications you need for salvation. Who gives you these qualifications? The Father. What are his qualifications? Very interestingly, he's saying what qualifications we need to get salvation, but he's also asking us, do we know, in other words, his qualifications? What are his qualifications? He is the ocean of knowledge and the ocean of peace. His praise is completely separate. It isn't that all are one. The Father is only one, and all of us souls are his children. The new creation is now being created. All of you are the children of Prajapita Brahma. However, those people are unable to understand these things. The Brahmin clan is the highest on high. Only the clans of Bharat are remembered. You have to go through these clans whilst taking 84 births. Brahmins exist at the confluence age. Acha, silence is very good. Each of you has a garland of peace around your neck. There is the story of a queen who lost her necklace. You now remember your home, the land of peace, a lot. Everyone knows that story. The queen looking for her necklace, and the whole kingdom, everyone in the kingdom looking for it. Little did she know that it was around her neck. So Baba is referring to that story. You now remember your home, the land of peace, a lot. Everyone wants to go to the home of peace. But who would show them the way? No one apart from the Father. The ocean of peace can show you the path. The Father's praise, the ocean of peace, the ocean of bliss is very good. He is the seed of the human world tree. There is such a difference of day and night. Krishna cannot be called the seed of the human world. The praise of the Father is separate. By his being called omnipresent, his praise is not proven. It isn't that God would sit and worship himself. God is ever worthy of worship. He never becomes a worshipper. Those who come from up above become worshippers from being worthy of worship. Baba says there are many points. Look how so many people come here, but only a handful out of multi-millions emerge because, so why it is so many come and only a handful out of multi-millions will emerge? Baba says because the destination is very high. There will continue to be many subjects created, but only a handful out of multi-millions become beads of the rosary. There is the example of Narad. You now look at your own faces to see whether you have become worthy of marrying Lakshmi. Only a few will become kings. There are many subjects created for one king. You should make effort to become elevated. Very interesting point. You should make effort to become elevated. Amongst the kings, some are big kings and others are minor kings. There are many kings in Bharat. Kingdoms have continued in Bharat. In the Golden Age, there are many kings and emperors. Their emperors have princes and princesses. They have a lot of property. The kings have less property. It is now the rule of people over people. The kingdom is now being established. There is the knowledge for becoming Sri Lakshmi and Sri Nara. You are now making effort for this. And that is the effort to become Sri Lakshmi and Sri Nara. Baba asks, will you claim the status of Lakshmi or Narayan or Rama and Sita? Then you all reply, We will claim the status of Lakshmi and Narayan. We will claim the full inheritance from the Father. These are wonderful things. Nowhere else do they speak these things, nor are these things mentioned in the scriptures. Baba says, the locks on your intellects have now opened. The Father explains. He's being quite practical here. He says, whilst walking and moving around, consider yourselves to be. What should we consider ourselves to be? He would usually say souls. Today he says, as he mentioned in the answer to the question, whilst walking and moving around, consider yourselves to be actors. We now have to return home. Constantly remember this. This is called being Manmanabha and Madhyajibha. The Father repeatedly reminds you. And what he reminds us of repeatedly? He says, children, I have come to take you back home. This is a spiritual pilgrimage. No one apart from the Father, says, no one apart from the Father can inspire you to do this. You also have to praise Bharat. This Bharat is the holiest land. It is the birthplace of the Father. Excuse. It is the birthplace of the Father, the remover of sorrow and the bestower of happiness, and the bestower of salvation for all. Excuse. That same Father is also the liberator for everyone. This is the greatest pilgrimage place of all. Although the people of Bharat go to the Shiva temple, they don't know the Father. They know Gandhiji. They believe that he was a very good person. And this is why they go and offer flowers to his statue and spend hundreds of thousands of rupees. And if you go to Gandhiji Marg, there is that light that is lit constantly. They say that that light never goes out. It is maintained by someone. And people go there and they do a lot of rituals, offering flowers, etc., malas and so. Thinking, yes, he was a very good person, but of course he's not God. At this time, it is their room. They can do whatever they want. The Father sits here and carries out establishment in an incognito way. At first, there was the kingdom of the deities in Bharat. They have shown that a war took place between the devils and the deities, but it did not happen like that. It is on the battlefield here that you conquer Maya. It would definitely be the Almighty Authority Father who enables you to conquer Maya. Only the Father liberates you from Ravan's kingdom and establishes the kingdom of Ram. There is no question of war there. We now see that Christians are almighty authorities amongst all human beings. And of course, almighty authorities will be in lowercase a's. They can conquer anyone. However, it is not the law that you can become the masters of the world. Only you know these secrets, At this time, the almighty authority is that of the Christians. Otherwise, their population should be the smallest of all. Why their population should be the smallest of all, though they are the biggest now? Bible says, because they have come last. However, out of all three religions, that one is the most powerful. They control everyone. This drama is also fixed. It is from them that we are to take our kingdom. There is a story of two monkeys fighting and the third one taking the butter from in between. They fight amongst themselves, and the people of Bharat receive the butter. The butter is the cream of the world, the kingdom of heaven. The story is just word pennies, but it has such a great meaning. Even though people are actors, they don't know the drama. It is only the poor who understand this knowledge. Wealthy people don't understand anything. The Father is remembered as the Lord of the poor and the purifying. He is now playing his part in a practical way. You have to explain this to big gatherings. The Bible says, the intellect says that your praise will gradually emerge. The gong will sound at the last moment. The gong is like the bugle's instrument. There is now an eclipse of bad omens over the children. Their lines are not clear, and there continues to be obstacles. To the extent that you make effort, you will receive a reward accordingly. Bible says the Pandavas were unable to find 3 square feet of land. That praise is of this time. However, no one knows that you will then become the masters of the world then. So just imagine, we may not be able to find 3 square feet of land, but our effort can be so intense that we can become the masters of the world there. You children now know this in a practical way. There is no need for any regret about this. It happened like this in the previous cycle too. You have to stay alert. Alert about what? He says you have to stay alert on the rails of the drama and not shake. The play is now coming to an end, and we are going to the land of happiness. Study in such a way that you claim a high status. Acha, okay. To the sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, Bap Dada. The spiritual father says namaste to the spiritual children, and the spiritual children say namaste to the spiritual father. Essence for Dharana, points to practice for today. First point, don't have any regrets about anything. Let the line of your intellect remain constantly clear. Protect yourself from any eclipse of bad omens. Second point, fulfill your responsibility to your household. Don't dislike anyone. Stay like a lotus flower. Become a theist and enable everyone to become a theist. And Papa's blessing for today. May you be a world server with a big heart and reap the instant and practical fruit of service. Someone who does service with a big heart also reaps the instant fruit of service in a big way. Whenever you carry out a big task, do it with a big heart and also have a big heart in enabling others to become cooperative. Do not have a strong heart either for yourself or for cooperative souls. By your having a big heart, dust will turn to gold, and weak companions will become strong. Success that seemed impossible become possible. Success that seemed impossible becomes possible. For this, surrender I, and you will become a world server who has a big heart. We have a slogan for today. To transform excuses into solutions is to have pure and positive thoughts for others. Om Shanti. And Baba's Murli continues with invaluable versions of Mateshwariji. Mama says, to whom is the praise sung? You are the mother and father. We are your children. And due to your mercy, we have a lot of happiness. This is surely sung to God, because God himself comes in the form of the mother and father and gives limitless happiness to this world. God definitely created a world of happiness at some point. For this is why they call out to him as the mother and father. However, people do not know what happiness is. When there was limitless happiness in this world, there was also peace. But there isn't that happiness anymore. People definitely have a desire for happiness. Some ask for wealth and possessions. whereas others ask for children. Some even ask that they remain faithful brides whilst their husbands are still alive, and that they never become widows. So, their desire is for happiness, is it not? So God would definitely fulfill their desire at some time. In the golden age, when there is heaven on earth, there is constant happiness, and women never become widows. So that desire is fulfilled in the golden age, where there is limitless happiness. However, at this time, it is the Iron Age. At this time, people only experience sorrow. But when people experience extreme sorrow, they say, accept everything from God's plate and consider it to be sweet. However, when God Himself comes and enables all our accounts to be settled, it is then that we say, you are the mother and father. Acha. Okay. Om Shanti. So Baba is giving us so much to keep our intellect so charged so we can make elevated effort. Acha. Om Shanti. You have a very powerful day in Baba's remembrance.